And now to the flu. Last year we had one of the longest flu seasons, and this year we're seeing this area, actually the entire state, slammed again by the flu.
And Megan Key spoke with local doctors about the flu trends and the best way to protect yourself. And she's here in the studio with more. Good morning, Megan.
Hey, good morning. You know, doctors aren't completely sure why Southeast Louisiana's flu rates are so high, but they say often here in the state there's very low vaccination rates. And the fact that millions of people vacation in New Orleans every year may also play a role in the spread of the virus. Now, take a look at this map. This was put together by the CDC, and you'll notice that southern states, we've got Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, this entire area is red, meaning it's widespread. That flu activity is widespread here in these southern states, while you'll notice some of the northern states and some of the Midwest, less flu activity than we're seeing here in Louisiana. And I'm going to break it down for you here in Louisiana specifically, and you'll notice we've got the highest cases of flu here in Southeast Louisiana. You'll notice the rest of the state tends to have moderate levels of the flu, but here in Southeast Louisiana, we're seeing more and more cases. Now, we know that here in Louisiana, flu season started earlier than the rest of the country. It started in September, when it usually starts a month later in October. Now, I do want to show you some of the ways you can protect yourself from the flu. Of course, you can get vaccinated, you can wash your hands, you should wash your hands and avoid sick people. You should also cover your nose with a tissue if you sneeze or cough, and then after you get done with that, throw that tissue out. And you should also try to stop touching your eyes, your nose, and your mouth, because we all know that is a way that you can spread different types of viruses, and that is ways that germs do transfer. Now, we did talk to some doctors, and they explained the scariest part about the flu.
What's scary about the flu is it can kill young, healthy people. We've seen that. These are people who aren't on the list of high-risk people for influenza. These are young, healthy people who get a bad case of the flu and can die, and it's very frightening and it's very scary. So again, vaccination is the best way to prevent that. But what also happens with the flu is you can have the flu illness, and then your immune system's weakened, and you can get some bacteria that'll creep in and give you bad pneumonias from this. And that's what oftentimes people die from, is not necessarily the first bout of influenza, but the bacterial infections that come in, a week later.
It's definitely scary to think about, and as that doctor said, Louisiana does tend to have some of the lowest vaccination rates in the country, so it's definitely a good idea to get out there and get vaccinated. It's never too late.
All right, thanks very much. This morning we have been testing your knowledge about the flu.
That's right. And do you know the answer to this? True or false? You can spread the flu to others before you even have symptoms. Think you know the answer? Well, if you guess true, you're correct. The state health department says most healthy adults may be able to infect others beginning one day before symptoms develop and up to 5 days after becoming sick. We'll have another flu trivia question coming up at 7 o'clock on WUPL.